I'll
That looks
pretend.
like the opposite colors of your t-shirt.
Oh, yeah, right. I'll promise to pretend to look warm, even though I'm quite cold.
All right.
Okay, so we have squatting today, kind of as our primary.
Okay.
I wrote eight, so 3 sets of 8 to 10 tempo squats, actually scoots, but I actually technically wrote a typo. 8 to 10 tempo squats, holding in the front rack if it's a possibility. So providing an option for complexity, but by no means is it a requirement. So for anyone who's been holding it here, right, your weight's in front, that's fine. If you've been back racking it, cool, keep it. Um, but it's one of those things where if you found your weights to be a little bit easy, putting on the shoulders can just add like one step further in a progression of complexity. So unweighted goblet, that's a single option. And then the double, 2 weights on the shoulder. I will say a little trick with that, you have to be able to get them to your shoulder. So if you can't bicep curl them or power clean them, that might be something to consider. Um, Followed by 10 bear plank dumbbell pull throughs. We've done both of these things before. I believe we've done them together. A bear plank is basically a tabletop position, your knees slightly off the ground. And the pull through is where you just move. In this case, I say dumbbell, but honestly, moving an object back and forth. It's all about time under tension with that exercise. Um, a bit of core stability. Excuse me. Ooh. Okay. I've only gotten through a couple sips of coffee so far, so here we are. Um, um, Followed by 4 sets of 8 per side goblet lunges, 8 per side lying clamshells. I'll go over those again. And 30 seconds of tall to short planks or plank ups, depending on when I've said it and who you talk to. So we'll kind of see what that leaves us with. If we have a little time for conditioning, we'll do it. I know it's been on the fly here on that end. Um, if we spend a lot of time doing those first two things, that might be it. Okay, so we'll kind of see where this takes us. I just want to see how long the lifting sections take, and then what time we are remaining with. So let's start first and foremost. Um, Cat cows, do some other bird dogs, the usual floor stuff. But if you are new to this or like a reminder, just follow along. Doing 10 or so of each thing. You are more than welcome to do more if it feels nice, or do less if it feels a little bit problematic. Good. Followed by, okay, taking your time with these, 10 alternating bird dogs. So we're biasing a leg extension, right? The leg going back. I'm gonna squeeze my butt before I lift my foot off the ground to keep my hips nice and even. So my glass of water shouldn't move. You can add in the arms. That would be opposite arm in this case, but the arm is more of a bonus. So toe down, squeeze your butt on the bird dog, pick it up. Again, arms are optional here. while we're in this tabletop position, we're gonna get some kind of whole body circles. I'm gonna show you from a couple different angles. So facing the direction I'm facing, I'm gonna go clockwise. So my right, I'm gonna go over my right shoulder, right hip, left shoulder. In front, so it's clockwise basically. Looks like this. So I'm in the middle, I'm gonna go right, front, right back, left back. Just kind of a nice, gentle movement. We're not letting the spine move anything extra. So I'm not going into child's pose. I'm just rotating around. You can be a segmented, right, hitting your corners, hips and shoulders, or more circular. Just a gentle rotation. And 5 in one direction, and then we're going to repeat that in the opposite. So I'm going to go left shoulder, left hip. Doing a gentle stretch in the hip and the wrists and shoulders, respectively, maybe. We're going to take our left hand, or whichever hand you like, reach it to the ceiling. Reach the ceiling, and you're going to rotate and reach through. Repeating the cycle 3 times per side. So this is a matter of, this rotation is a matter of comfort. General restriction. So if you have some just general tightness, don't be afraid to just be gentle with that level of. Sorry, quality stay on. Excuse me. Okay. Good. After you 3 per direction, let's do our 90-90s or shin boxes. Same thing. So feet, shoulder to hip width. I might need to lean back because I have tight hips. It's okay for the low back to be slightly rounded if you're comfortable with that. If you prefer a slightly more back supported position, you can either sit up, or if you're like me, tight hips, you might need to lean back to accommodate that back position. So both are fine, but from the side, we're coming off to the side, my right leg is down, left hip is up. So that's more of a hip biased one. If I let the back rotate a little bit, as in my pelvis tuck, that's okay for me. It can become a gentle low back stretch. Okay. Well, it's pretty common to find yourself, you do 10 of these, find yourself you've moved a couple of inches, like you've scooted forward basically. That's fine. You could just scoot back onto your mat or whatever you're working on. This one should be gentle. This one should not be painful. So if it is, you can just either avoid it or talk to your friendly local PT, see what's going on, or GP, depending on what you have going on. Good. Let's go push up into some down dogs. If you want to add an up dog because you like it, great. These push-ups can be heavily assisted, but ultimately looking for, I might use my knees because it's early. Laying down, push up dog is an option, not a requirement. Down dog is the bias. So as is push up. I'm assisting my push up, that's fine. Down dog. And let's do a total of 8 of these. You can stretch the hamstring, the back, shoulders. You can bend the knees for the hamstring. Yeah, take your time with these. Give these take a bit. Excellent. Okay, final piece, and then we'll get moving here. Our shoulder spin up. We haven't done this in a while. So that's our, I'm gonna kneel here. You can stand, okay? So I'm on my knees, or you can take a knee or come to a standing position. You just need to be off of the ground because we're swinging our arms around. So we need the room to do so. Thumbs are up. We're making a T shape. Start small. Gradually the circles bigger. Whatever, and pick a direction. We're gonna do both. So don't worry about it. When you have 10 or so, coming back to around 90 degrees, or if it's a little rough, you can come down to 45 and start the same thing. But this time I'm going opposite, the opposite direction. My thumbs are still pointed up. My elbows are still straight. There you go. Okay. 10 these. Go forward and back. So I'll show you from the side. You can stay facing forward. Just nice and easy. Right? Super simple. If you know this is a problem or restriction, go ahead and avoid it or stop before it causes pain. The shoulders staying behind my pec. So I'm not in this. That one's pretty passive. I'm not working too hard for this one. A little tap, just a little hug. Yeah. Okay, let's go with thumbs pointed down. So thumbs are down, elbows straight. This one, if you want to start with the elbows, hands lower, you can. Picking a direction, I'm going forward. If you have 10 in one direction, I might go take a break, but you can go directly and 10 the opposite. 10 the opposite. I'm going to hand start my hands lower because this one can get kind of hard, which is okay. I say approximately 10 to keep it's not perfect. I think that's 10. Good. Okay, so let's go ahead, come to the standing position next. A little more extended warm up for us this morning. So, make myself in frame here. Most of myself in frame. My feet are at squat width, so trust me on that. We're going to be focusing on my knees and up. Hands are above your head. Feet are squat width. I'm at an angle. You can stay where you are. Squatting down to whatever squat you can do. You're going to touch your toes, your shins, the floor in front of you, right? So I can touch my toes. That's fine. So we're still in squat shape. I'm going to gently raise my hips. Maybe I have some hamstring strength, length. Squat down. Hands back up. Stand up. That's 1. Let's do 4 more. Squatting down. Hands above your head. Touching your shins, your toes, or the floor in front of you. Gently raise the hips if your hamstrings can. Squatting back down. Hands back over your head. Beautiful. Good. Take your time with these. If you need to rest within the set of 5, We did one together. You're doing 4 more on your own. It's okay if you need to take a break or find your balance point. I'll say for anyone watching later, if you've been moving around a bit, you're not quite as stiff as Arisa and myself, it is okay to see either abbreviate this section or glean what is the most helpful for you out of what we're doing here. But at 6 something in the morning, this can be helpful. So here we are. Slightly longer warm than normal, but I've also been, I don't know, feeling my age more. Feel like a little extra check-in time can feel warranted. Yeah, not always. Um, maybe Reese can agree with me on that one. So let's talk about what we're gonna do today. So I have 8 to 10 tempo squats. I didn't give you tempo, or just didn't write it down specifically. I still want the 3 seconds descending. So just 1 1000, 2 1000, 3 1000. 1 second. Oh, say check-in, pause. Feel good. Do you like it? Do you feel balanced? Stand back up. So 3 down, 1 hold, stand back up. And we're doing that for 8 to 10 reps. So have a couple variations for you. Of course, body weight. Great. Stick with body weight. That's totally fine if that's what you can tolerate. Keeping in mind with that tempo, you have a minimum, right, of 32 seconds under tension-ish, right? That's like not including your standing up, but like the active moving portion of the movement, you're being moving for about 30 plus seconds. Whereas if you go for the 10 reps, we're looking at closer to like 40 seconds of tension. So just keep that in mind when you're picking your weights, right? Or if you're picking weight at all. So a couple options. Of course, the good old-fashioned goblet squat, right? Carrying the weight in front, right? Everyone's favorite. This is nice if something a little bit heavier, a little more simple. A kettlebell also does the trick. So if you have like one of these guys, that works too. If you are growing out of your weights and you don't have the privilege of grabbing more heavy ones from a dumbbell rack you don't own, you can go ahead and take your lighter weights. I have my 10 pounds here. And putting them on your shoulders. So I'm going to show you my upper body mostly. Excuse me. So instead of squatting like this, in front, excuse me, wrong way. Right, so it's going like this. So 1, 2, 3, hold 1, stand back up. That's 1 rep. I might say, you know what? Maybe I'm going to take 2 of my dumbbells, get them to my shoulders, bicep curl, a little power clean for those who can't. And then, so it's on my, resting on my shoulders. I have it in my hands as well. Breathing in, so 1, 2, 3, hold 1, stand. Demands are slightly more complicated, a little more upright with this one, right? Versus the goblet where I'm a little more forward. Very much up to you, but I want to give you that option. Okay. And then you're going to take an object. It does not need your dumbbell. And then from here, we're going to do dumbbell plank pull throughs, but the plank is a bear plank. So my object is behind my wrist. I bear plank, my tabletop position, with my knees hovering off the ground. I'm going to reach across. So my left wrist has a dumbbell behind it. I'm going to reach across my right. 1, 2, 3. A little shifting here on the hips is okay. It will happen. But We're just moving an object. We can take it to a regular plank shape. This feels better. This is easier. Okay. Or easier. Okay. Or just a plank hold. About 30 to 40 seconds worth. We're doing a plank hold. So, my one and only in person. Let's go ahead. Start with your dumbbells. Either on the shoulder. You can go pick a loaded position of your choice. And when you're ready, go ahead and start. There you go. Don't forget that pause, Arisa. So hold. Yep. Then stand. If it helps, you can squat to something, which I forgot to mention. So your sofa, a low seat in your house somewhere, touch, something to give you a sense of space and time. Breathing in as you go down, breathing out as you stand up. Let's work with front squats. Excellent. So bear plank, dumbbell, or object of your choice, pull through. The lower your knees are to the ground, so like the closer your knees are without touching, the harder it becomes. The higher up you get, so the more kind of tent shaped you get. We want to call it easier, let's call it less hard.
Sorry, I need to run out for a bathroom break. Okay, I'm back.
Okay. Yep. There you go. Dumbbells to the shoulders. But don't forget your pause. So 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Hold 1. Stand. For that 8 to 10 rep range, you can stop at 8. Or if you feel like you can go to 10, go to 10. But that's something you can choose. We're doing this for a total of 3 rounds. Just hold. Good. Nice job. His eyes forward as you squat. Just look across the room that you're in.
Okay, that's 10. I could feel my knees kind of creeping up as I was doing that bear hold. I had to really think about.
So yeah, and then you know what? Part of it is recognizing it, and you might find that you just need to take a break within, right? I write these reps down with the intent of either progressively pulling back the volume and increasing complexity or load, or sometimes both. And in some cases, like the bear plank, it just might mean you need to take a break. Or you're like, oh, you catch yourself and then you lower back down again.
Mhm.
It's ironic or kind of interesting when the plank becomes an easier position, like a locked out joint position, right? As opposed to something where we're a little more wobbly, which is why that bear plank is so. I'm always shocked at, I would say how hard it is. I'm like, I thought a plank would be harder. Um, okay, so we have the next piece, 4 working sets. So kind of I would say our accessory section, if you will. We have 8 per side, so we're kind of going to single-legged versions. Goblet lunges, so either carrying a singular weight in front. You have lighter weights. Again, you can do a pair of them, one in each hand. So just holding it by your sides, right? Or, like I said, if you're feeling fancy, put them on your shoulders, like you just did. But the goblet lunges, direction of your lunge is not specified. So for those who like to lunge forward, lunge forward. If you like to lunge backwards, lunge backwards. But I want you to stay on one leg for 8 before you switch to the other side. So resting between legs is welcome. But ultimately, you want your hip, your knee, and your ankle relationship to remain the same. So whether I step forward or backwards, I'm going to step backwards here. This hip, knee, and ankle, right, should stay stacked. Now, if I can't get my back knee to the ground, that's fine. I'm not worried about the back knee touching the ground. But doing 8 per side, right? Or if you're stepping forward, same idea. As I step forward, hip, knee, ankle, stay stacked, right? So whichever works for you. But carrying the weight either in front here or by your sides or on your shoulders. Again, all variations of depends on what weight options you have. Side lying clamshells. We've done these before, I believe. If you have like a baby band, like a PT band, and you want to make a little loop, you can put it around your knees. I don't happen to have one, but it can make this just emphasize the exercise. I'm going to be in not quite a side plank, a little zigzag, if you will. So my hips are back, so my shoulder and my feet are lined up. But my hips are, I would say, I feel like a pinup doll, if you have that reference point. From here, my shoulders down to stomp by the shoulder, so I have my hand on my hip. That's just helpful for me, as opposed to rotating down and away. So shoulders down, top of shoulders, not bottom shoulders on top of my elbow. I'm going to push down my bottom knee while simultaneously opening up the top. So it's going to be push down, hips through, and back. So I'm opening both hips. Hips are coming through. And I sit back. Right? So from the side, I'm not sure this is helpful. Let's try. So zigzag, right? And then hips, forward, back, forward, right? 8%. And then we have 30 seconds worth, and either you can count for yourselves or for your second run a timer. Tall to short planks, as in top of your push-up to your forearm plank. So from the side, 1 rep will be, right, could be here or here for the push-up, the plank. Right, 1, 2, so on and so forth. Again, if you're welcome to bring that down to a knee position. Okay. When in doubt, if that plank shape is being problematic, find 30 seconds of an abdominal piece, ab piece that you like. Okay. When you're ready, take your time. Do 8 per side. Stay on one leg for 8 lunges forward or back. Weight is encouraged. If you know that's a problem, keep that in mind. There you go.
3, 6, 8.
Good. So after you've done one leg, so far so good. But if you ever want to take a break, as in put your weights down, or rest, you can rest between sides, especially when we're going single-sided on our movements. So you're just gonna do, or is that you changing directions or changing sides?
I'm, I'm changing directions for my second pair.
Okay. So for
So,
your second,
yes.
you're
So I
only
did
doing
both sides forward, and now I thought I'd do both sides backwards.
go
Or,
do both sides backwards, but on your next set. You still
oh,
have lying clamshells.
oh, I see. Okay.
Oh, yeah, so you can, so once you've done 8 per side, dead stop, you can
Oh,
stop.
right. Right. Oops.
If you want to change your direction, I'm actually not opposed to this. Just wait till the second round.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Oh,
let's go 8 sideline clamshells next.
right. Oh, because I did the 8 already. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm a big fan of changing direction or kind of adding variety within. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's why like PT band. It's okay if you don't have one, but it's one of like a, that red stretchy stuff. You could tie into stuff, tie into loops. If you put it on the knee, right, it kind of, you can kind of create tension on the top leg, but you don't have to. Again, I don't have one. You also want to make sure if you do have a band at home, the band isn't so strong that you can't do the exercise because that's just silly. Good. So 8 per direction or side in this case. You could also, frankly, if you're doing this, just roll over. So if I'm facing this direction, I can just,
Okay. All right.
so no need to face, I mean, you can face the camera at all times, but it's okay if you're not.
Mhm.
Followed by,
All the short planks. Okay. Okay.
yeah, yeah, there you go. Nice tucked hips. So keeping those hips. I have a clock going, by the way, Risa. So you're not rolling by you're not hoping it's over and guessing. You can also roughly transfer it if you have your Garmin or your wearable on your wrist.
Okay.
You got a little peek. You have 10 seconds. 2, 1, and rest. I agree. I know. They're terrible. I mean, they're good for you,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I'm always, like I said, I've been doing this long enough. I should know better. But I was like, I'm always surprised when I'm like, why was that so hard? Beautiful. That's round or set number 1. We're doing a total of 4.
Okay. All
So
right.
road just kind of rolling through these at a pace that works for you. And more importantly, yeah, if you want to change it up,
Yes.
change the direction of your lunge. If you want forward, go backwards. If you can't,
All
that's
right.
okay.
All right.
You can always remove the weight out of the situation if that needs to be it needs to be a thing. So as you step backwards, go ahead and get the chest up a little bit. Right? So you still want to say balance, but you can balance between your feet. Yeah, there we go. Versus over the front leg, which is more kind of split squatty. Right? So balance between both legs. Yeah. When you step back, squeeze your butt cheek on the back leg first, then start to go down. It's a bit of a trick, but it's a good starting point. You can tell how much control you have and keep your back butt cheek squeezed. Your depth might change.
Okay.
Sideline clamshells.
All right.
I have a feeling most people are gonna get the pin up doll reference, but some people won't. We'll see. You push down with the bottom leg while simultaneously opening up the top leg. Yeah, just roll over is fine. Over. You have to face the camera if you want to.
Okay, I'm ready.
Yep. Right, I have you. I say have you on the timer. Go. Just try and breathe through this. I know it's challenging, but just as long as you're breathing, you're just fine. 3, 2, 1, rest. Good. Yeah, cardio or weightlifting? You tell me which one. Yeah. Sometimes both at the same time. Um, there you go. There you go. Yep. Yep. Push down with the bottom knee, side leg. Did the lights turn on in your house, Risa, or did the sun come up?
I think a little of both. Well, it's
Okay.
not on, but yeah, it's starting to be
I was gonna
less.
say it looks brighter. I wouldn't know my shades are closed, which is why I'm asking you.
All right, I've lost count. All right.
That's sunrise, 6:55. No, sunrise is not quite here yet, but it's on its way.
Okay. All right.
Okay. I'll just basically start when I have the clock for it, just a chronic running clock. So yeah, there you go. I've got you in the timer. Like anything else, you need to rest or take a break within a set, that's fine, or within a set of movements.
All right.
Rest. Good.
All right.
Break. You need to take a break. It's a lot.
All right. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Find all time through.
Okay. All right.
Like I said, as on this last set of everything, right? The per sides per leg, if you need to like stop, rest between sides. So do your left first, rest, and then do your right or vice versa. That's fine. So you're doing a great job, but there's no need to go directly into something else. If you need to just,
All right.
you like the intensity, it's working for you. I'm not going to stop you. But your form is still a factor here, right? Still want that form to work for you. Nice balance, the reverse lunges. Opening top hip while simultaneously brushing down with the bottom leg. Sorry for the yawn, it's not you. You. It's not the company.
Oh,
So, a little lateral hip, lateral leg, and a bit of lateral core work as well for this sideline clamshell. Yeah, good. Just like before, right? If you need to take a break, you can. Otherwise, when I see you start to move up and down in that plank, I'll start looking at, I'll start the clock. But you can take a
okay.
well-deserved rest. Okay.
All right. Oh, let's do this. Okay.
Final set of plank ups or tall to short planks. There you go. You like to go wider with your feet, so it's slightly maybe like closer to shoulder width. That can make it feel slightly less wobbly. This will be wobbly. Don't get me wrong. It's just gonna be less wobbly. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Good. Nice job.
All right. All right. Yeah.
Oh,
Look at this all
I
warm.
know. Yeah. So it's one of those things where there's a reason I didn't add a third section. I wasn't sure. So I increased a lot of like the number of sets, but also the things put together can have a cardiovascular effect, not a bad thing. Um, it could also, for someone who's maybe going heavier, might just be more a loaded effect, right? So you can approach these differently. Same movements, same rep scheme, but if you had a heavier dumbbell or a band for your clamshells or whatever, like you can make things as intense as you want, or maybe not as intense. So taking more breaks or letting your heart rate come below a certain zone before you go again. That might take a bit longer, so I will keep that in mind if you are adjusting for heart rate because it's a delayed metric. Um, but yeah, this is something, there's a reason I didn't have a third thing today. For anyone who wants to tack on a bit of ab work, go for a cool down walk, whatever, by all means. But based on your response to this, I think we hit a sweet spot. Challenging baby cardio. I know, not for endurance athletes, but under a bit of load, a bit of weight. So and with a little bit, we have about 5 minutes left. Is there anything you want to stretch out? Maybe you want to address something that you want to, well, it's a bit on the fly, so I don't have an answer. I'll look up an answer. Um, but anything, yeah, anything you want to find that any, whether it's for your running or your swimming, your biking, that you struggle to recover from or something to help with. It's okay if the answer is no.
I can't really think of anything. Yeah, but I am gonna hop on and do Coach Jaffa's workout.
Perfect. Wait, what? Bike workout?
Yeah.
Bless you. I didn't know you're doing that. I would, you'll be fine. Yeah. You're warmed up.
I am warmed up and I figure yes, well, and that's why it'll be on Zoom at, here at home. So I don't have to they don't have to see me taking longer breaks. I think they're meeting down at the polo field track, but um
Oh,
yeah.
wonderful. Well, I was gonna say, if you see him, tell him I say hello. He's a lovely man. I miss seeing him regularly. And I will hopefully see you next week. But let me actually, all joking aside, let me know. You can just either text me or through Discord. Let me know how you feel like back to back. If
Okay.
that felt like an okay, like you feel like my legs were okay, or like, ooh, a little heavier than I thought.
Oh, well,
Right.
I know last week I tried to do this as well, and it was definitely um, actually I felt it more at the end of the day.
Yes, totally. I will say, do go to Jaffa's thing. That's great. Um, and it's almost like if you're doing it on, Zwift or whatever platform, if you can try it as it's prescribed, power wise or part rate or whatever he's having you do, or intensity. But if you're like, I'm trying to meet that intensity, but I'm not sustaining the intended stimulus, it's almost like when you bring the bias like down from 100 to like 90, 80. So you match, like he's like, I want you to be able to talk, or like, zone two. You're like, okay, well, maybe my zone two is a little lower today because I'm pre-fatigued,
Right.
right? So, right, if he's able to describe the intensity he wants from you, you
Oh,
can match that based on your fatigue level and go for a walk or flush out the legs, hydrate, stretch.
okay.
Cool. Enjoy your second workout. Good for you. Big fan.
Thank you.
Bye, Arisa. Take care of yourself.
You too.